What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Comic Book Nerd, where we talk all things major movie television news. I'm your host on the channel, Grant Sullivan, and the Secret Invasion finale. What a finale, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. We're going to break down the finale, as you can tell by the title in this video. It will be called Episode 6 Finale Breakdown. We're hopping into the breakdown of Secret Invasion Episode 6. What a great finale to end it off with to set up for Captain Marvel 2. And we'll talk about how this sets up Captain Marvel and the X-Men going forward in the MCU. But first, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, so you guys don't miss out on any of the latest videos. We're almost to 50 subs in like a month and a half, which is insane. So thank you guys for that. But let's go ahead, hop right into the video as it is early, but I'm still hyped. It's like around 6 o'clock a.m. around on the East Coast. For those East Coast viewers, you know what I'm talking about when it gets early like this. But let's go ahead, though, and start off. So, real quick, the one thing I want to mention before we start off this video is that it was a very short finale. It was 37 minutes long, which was enough time for them to do what they needed to do, right? So, sets up that, but that's just what I wanted to mention. It's one of the shorter finales of the Disney Plus shows that we have gotten. There's also no post-credit scene, by the way. So, you guys are in for a treat, but there is no post-credit scene as well. By the way, spoilers. If you did not want any spoilers, this is your official spoiler warning. Click off this video in 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. So the episode starts off with Fury back home, with Fury's wife back at their home after the last episode where her and Gaia got attacked by Gravik's men. Obviously, we've seen what happened last episode, right? We see that she is talking to Fury on the phone, and Fury tells her that he's basically leaving. He's going back to save her. Once she's finished with Gravik, he's basically done. We know, obviously, he makes it back to save her, and this is what he's referring to, right? He is saying, hey, I'm going back to save her once I deal with Gravik. If you want to come with me, you are welcome to come with me, but if you don't want to, stay here, wait for my return as well, and hopefully you can forgive me then. But this is most likely his last conversation, which we will get to towards the end of the video before the mission starts with Gravik. We then cut to new Skrull Loose, right? We see 2 guards hold guns in the air as they threaten the car that is moving, right? That's obviously their first move, obviously. Interestingly enough, though, no one is in that car, and that's just enough as a distraction for Nick Fury to tell the 2 guards to kill the 2 guards and walk right into new Skrull Loose. Basically just Fury being Fury, as we have seen throughout the MCU, but later on, this is revealed to be Gaia, and we will talk about that in a few minutes. But we then cut to the opening credits, and it's the last time we have to see the stupid AI credits. That's just my opinion on it. I absolutely hate the AI credits from Marvel Studios. They need better workers. Obviously, they can't do that right now, but they do need better workers to make the credits. So, moving on from that, we then see that Skrull Rhodey and a few of the President's people are having a secret meeting. Obviously, I just made that joke just because of Secret Invasion. Haha, funny right there. Rhodey is then talking about how it's 100% the Russians' fault, right? That they nuked, or that they started the attack against the Skrulls. And how their proof is the man in the chair right there, President Ritson, who's still recovering from that battle that he was severely injured in. Rhodey then tries to convince the president to drop the bomb on the Russians, but the president wants to wait. That's just pretty much the whole gist of this meeting. We see Fury go into new Skrull Loose, and it looks like he is faking himself being sick, because in the Marvel's trailer, obviously he looks totally fine, right? So this obviously goes to the reveal, which we will talk about still in a few minutes. He takes some pills, and we will see that he is lost in new Skrull Loose and tries to use the navigator to find his way to Gravik. We then see that Sonya gives Skrull Rhodey a distraction and tells Rhodey to move the president because Fury has lost it, and now he's coming after the president, and that causes Rhodey and President Ritson to obviously move floors pretty much. And we see Sonya peeking from the outside, so we know that it is a distraction. That's something the audience doesn't know, that we know, or that's something the characters don't know, but what we know. We then see Fury go into where Project Harvest is located, and we see that Rhodey is panicking and moves the president upstairs because of what Sonya said. We then get some backstory on Gravik, and here is where I want to talk about the most. Most creators I have seen don't talk about Gravik enough, so we're going to talk about Gravik. But number one, Gravik says the reason he took the man's face that he did was because he was the first person he ever killed. And do you know why that he killed that person? Well, he killed that person because of Nick Fury trying to impress his mentor, I guess you would say, is what he calls it as well. Gravik says that he was trying to impress Fury and that he is the only one brave enough to admit that killing people took a piece out of his heart. And that's when Gravik started to go haywire, is when after Fury kept telling him to kill all of these innocent people that had families. That's why Gravik takes the place of this person, or takes the face of this person, is because he wants to honor the first person who he killed, which he shouldn't have killed, obviously. We also see that Gravik goes off, and we hear Gravik ask Fury about his Avengers team and his cloaking tech. Now, the cloaking tech, or the Avengers team, is obviously nowhere to be found right now. We have no Avengers right now, and the cloaking tech is actually a great reference because this is Gaia imitating Fury. We know this, right? So, obviously, that's the reveal later on. It sets up the cloaking tech. Just a little hint that I thought in there would be a nice thing for y'all as well. Now, the Avengers at this point in time aren't in the MCU yet, or aren't in the MCU right now. They are disbanded. They've been disbanded since Avengers Endgame. But, obviously, we could have seen Captain Marvel, and we did not, which I think was completely fine that we did not. There was no need for an Avengers cameo whatsoever in this series, regardless. I think the Rick Mason cameo was absolutely spot on from last episode. So, obviously, no reason for them to have an Avenger cameo in a Disney Plus show right now. But, continuing on, Gravik then goes off about Fury not keeping his promise. We then see that Nick Fury is talking about the blip, and that he felt relief when he got blipped, because obviously he felt like he found the Skrulls a home. Fury gives Gravik Project Harvest in exchange for him and the Skrulls leaving Earth and going to basically just go to another planet. But obviously that does not work. And obviously Gravik takes Project Harvest and starts to get the Skrull powers, as we see. And again, that's Gaia talking to Gravik as well. But we then see Rhodey and the President still fighting the, obviously, I guess you would say, Gravik's men now. And we then see who we think is the, obviously, leader of Russia. I don't remember exactly who we're calling him here, but I'm going to call him Putin because that's who it is in real life. But it looks like he's at a military base giving somebody classified information. I assume that this could be part of the Skrull attack, in my opinion. But obviously, I could be wrong, and it could be something else as well. But I do think that it could be about the Skrull attack that is happening as well. Gravik then gets what he wants, the powers of all of the Avengers, which is called Project Harvest. We see that Sonya has Skrull Rhodey at gunpoint and reveals to the President that Rhodey is a Skrull. When Gravik goes to attack Fury, we see that Fury has also gained the Skrull powers and punches Gravik a long way from where they were. This obviously leading to a bunch of reveals. Number one, Gaia is actually working with Nick Fury here and Sonya, and reveals to Gravik that she was Nick Fury imitating Nick Fury. The real Nick Fury is with Sonya at the hospital, and he and MI6 obviously are trying to get Skrull Rhodey to reveal that he's a Skrull. But obviously that does not work, and obviously we see that Gaia and Gravik continue to use their powers of any Avenger they want. Some examples that we have seen in this battle are obviously Groot's arm. We have seen that they use the powers of Mantis in this battle as well. Captain Marvel was used a lot, and I think that's just a reference to Captain Marvel, as she has the most connection with the Skrulls. But obviously a lot of Avengers used in this battle. I believe there are like 23 Avengers. We're not going to go over every one, but a couple of them: Captain America, Hulk, Thor, obviously the Winter Soldier was in there, Ghost was in there as well. Those are just a few examples of who was in that vial as well. Now, I do want to mention real quick before we move on, Ghost was not in the Battle of Earth, obviously, so they would have had to gotten that somewhere else. but who knows where they could have gotten that from as well. Fury then explains to the president what the plan was for the Skrulls. He says that the Skrulls are some of the best men alive, or he says that the Skrulls have kidnapped some of the best men alive, including real Rhodey, and they are trapped beneath the Skrull compound. So, if he bombs that, right, then he kills a lot of people. Gaia and Gravik continue to fight. Fury still tries to convince Ritson that Rhodey is a Skrull, and obviously it does work eventually, but he does have to kill him. We see Gravik and Gaia use the powers of Captain Marvel to finish off their fight in the sky. We also see Gaia use Mantis' powers and tells Gravik to sleep. And we see Gravik use powers of Ebony Maw. Now, if you don't know who that is, he was one of Thanos' puppets, right? He fought Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hulk, and obviously a couple other Doctor Strange in there in Avengers Infinity War. That's who that is. If you guys did not know who Dark Maul is, that is who that is. Ebony Maw is that guy. We see Gaia use Mantis' powers, and then we see her finish the fight against Gravik as she punches a hole through Gravik's stomach and tells her, and Gravik's final words to Gaia are that she is just like her father and just like them. Them referring to the Skrulls. This is the end of the fight, and Gravik is now officially dead. Back at the hospital, Rhodey tries to take Fury and tries to take Sonya's gun, and then Fury then kills Skrull Rhodey, and that's when Ritson calls off the attack on Russia, is when Rhodey is revealed to be a Skrull. That's crazy that they had to kill off Skrull Rhodey, but obviously you gotta do what you gotta do. We see that Gaia is releasing all of the people who we have seen Skrulls imitate throughout the series. And then we get the reveal of how long Rhodey has been a Skrull. Rhodey is looking like something that you would wear on when you're having surgery or something like that at a doctor's office, right? So maybe he's probably most likely taken after his crash in Civil War, and obviously when he tries to get up to walk, he doesn't get up to walk. That's obviously because he hasn't fully recovered from his injury from Civil War where he crashed. So he was taken after Civil War. This confirms it. We then see Everett Ross as well. Everett Ross looks confused, and they both look confused, or Rhodey and Ross both look surprised to see each other, and Ross even asks how long they've been in here. Gaia then gets up and responds to Ross and says that they've been hostage for a long time and helps Rhodey up. Then Ritson addresses the accidents that have taken place over the past few years or so, and says that they now know who the Skrulls are, and they will find everyone and kill everyone. He says that he is parceling off a bill that is going to obviously have aliens from other planets, not on this planet. So that's an X-Men tease right there. Obviously, what is the point of the entire X-Men? Well, obviously the point of the entire X-Men is for them to have home in their own skin, just like the Skrulls. But that is an X-Men tease right there, and we'll talk about how that sets up the X-Men in the end of this video as well. Fury, which we're almost done with, by the way. Fury goes back home and tells his wife that he is basically just saying, hey, I'm going to go to Saber. If you want, that's where I'll be if you want to come find me. If you do want to come find me, I will gladly have you alongside my side, but until then, we will meet again. The next scene is showing us that Sonya and Gaia are basically going to work together against Ritson. They know that Sonya says that they know that they will both use each other and that they don't need to be like Fury or anybody like that, but they do need to be protect the Skrulls against Ritson. So they start to work together. We see that Fury goes back to the woods where he was dropped off from Saber, and he tells Ritson that he needs to stop killing Skrulls and innocent people. We also get the reveal of how Gravik got so good. We see that Gravik kept even more bodies of innocent people in some sort of safe house, I guess you would say, and then Ritson tells Fury that if he truly cared about the Skrulls, then he would get them off of this planet, and that's how their conversation goes. Obviously, they're against I guess you would say they're against each other, but that's how their conversation goes. Fury then tries to get his wife, Vara, to go with them on Saber, and she says that she'll help him get started. They have that I love you thing, that cute little I love you thing, and we see them go back to Saber as pretty much a very happy ending for a lot of people. Obviously, it's a lot of happy endings right here, except obviously if you're Gravik, Talos, or Maria Hill. But that is pretty much the gist of episode 6. Let me know how hyped you guys are for the Marvels, I guess you would say, down in the comments below, I guess you would say. So let's talk about how, really quick, before I do get off of this video, I want to talk about how this bill sets up the X-Men, right? So, we know after the multiverse saga come the X-Men. We know that Marvel fans know that this next saga is going to focus on the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the mutants in this saga. But what fans can expect is that obviously there's going to have already been a bill passed that is going to say, hey, no more alien entities from this world. So that's going to have to keep that away from their scrolls as well. So that's going to be basically just the whole gist of the X-Men, I guess you would say, for now. That's just all the plot points that we have. That's interesting plot point that Marvel Studios is going with. They're not going to do an X-Men Origins. They're just going to keep them up, pick them up right where we are in the MCU. But, again, that is going to be all for today's video. Let me know what you thought of the breakdown in the comments down below. What you thought of Secret Invasion in the comments down below. Rate it out of 10 in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post every single day. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.